I'm going to do something a little bit different with this video. The previous 3 videos were all kind of fun commentary, meant to get you interested in the insights behind the topic. This video is going to lean into that insight, and heads up, I'm going to talk about an ebook I'm writing that is straight up packed with startup and product insight. It's my product Playbook. It's the one I use when I charge a lot of money to advise growing startups. I'll link to it in the comments, or you can go to joeprocopio.com and I'll put a link there. You don't need to buy it. I'm not trying to be an Amazon bestseller. And if you're a member of Teaching Startup, you already have all the content. But if you're looking for jokes or histrionics in this video, I'll get back to that in the next video. That one's about digital ads. There's an ad now on YouTube with a lady driving a van sitting on a toilet. Fertile ground. So let's talk about struggling startups and broken products. Every startup's product has its genesis in the primordial ooze that is the company's vision, mission, and product position. Whenever I get called into a company because their growth got stuck, their vision, mission, and position are the first place I go. I could make many and severe changes to the process, the org, the feature set, etc., but it's all guessing until the high-level stuff gets straightened out. Getting stuck in the growth phase happens a lot with startups, especially product startups. I found I was answering so many questions so often where the answers came straight from my product playbook, I eventually just documented that playbook in the most concise, common sense, and plain English way I could. Then I published it piece by piece in Teaching Startup, my startup to help founders build better startups, using Teaching Startup itself as an example in the playbook, because I built Teaching Startup on my own in my spare time using only no code. Founders loved the playbook. I've since given an overview as a talk at one startup's annual meeting, and I'm using it with another startup I'm on the board of and another I'm advising. So first, to be able to understand the example, you need to know what Teaching Startup is. Teaching Startup provides access to actionable, insightful, and honest startup advice for entrepreneurs at all experience levels, regardless of their connections or resources. By the way, that's not a sales pitch. That's Teaching Startup's mission statement, and it's what guides me to build a product that helps other startups figure out how to build their own products. So meta. With that in mind, let's start rethinking our product from the top, and I mean the very top. In product development, the hardest switch to flip is from the subjective hopes and goals of the company to the objective tasks and execution of the product roadmap, which is the reason why that link rarely gets created. That leads to a lack of direction that is usually a big part of the startup's growth issues. If you work very hard without direction, you won't get ideal results. Most of the time, when you see a vision statement or a mission statement, it sounds like corporate fluff. This is another concept most startups get wrong. If and when they bother to think about and write these statements, they just try to copy that fluff. But these concepts are incredibly important, from the beginning all the way to the exit. If you ignore them, you'll be flying blind. If they're fluff or inaccurate, you'll head in the wrong direction, usually at top speed. Your vision is your future. It's your billion-dollar story. It's why you're doing everything you do. It answers the question for everyone who might ask, and it is short, succinct, and should leave no doubt in your decision matrix. Now, you don't have to have a perfect vision on day one, and you can always modify or enhance it based on the changing conditions and the perpetual learning you'll do on your startup journey. I would start verbose and then cut it down. Let's look at an example. This is Teaching Startup's vision statement. Make more and better entrepreneurs. Maybe that's cut too far down. I'd call Teaching Startup an early stage startup. And in this, the vision is tight and accurate. It definitely serves its purpose in terms of making decisions, especially around building the product. But a startup's vision doesn't dictate decisions on its own. We've got a ways to go yet. Your product is what's going to get you to the goal of your vision. But first, you need a plan. Your mission turns your vision into the headline of a plan. If your vision is your company goal, your mission is a statement of what you're doing to achieve that goal. Your mission is your North Star, and it should encapsulate your value proposition, guide your priorities, and act as the foundation of your plans. The goal, the vision of Teaching Startup is to make more and better entrepreneurs. What we're doing to get there, stated at the top of the post, is providing access to actionable, insightful, and honest startup advice for entrepreneurs at all experience levels, regardless of their connections or resources. Now, my instinct here as a writer is to explain how we do that, but that will come later when I get to position. The mission, in some sense, is to get you to ask me to explain how. From the top down, my mission says how I'm going to get my vision done. It doesn't state why that's the goal of the vision, which does so by implying the market needs something to make more and better entrepreneurs. But the mission does get into the why of that implication. Teaching startup is necessary because there are limits on access around connections and resources. From the bottom up, when I'm considering decisions, whether about features, markets, initiatives, or even deals, the mission is guiding me. Your position turns your plan into action and begins to bring the vague subjective ideation into the concrete objective execution. It begins to define your market, your value proposition, and your key benefits. Now, a prescriptive strategy for defining position kind of defeats the purpose because startups and products are so unique. But I will outline what it is you need to do to define your positioning. Your positioning needs to accomplish all these goals. Describe how your product fits into the market, give a very concise description of the problem and solution, define and communicate value, and turn a mission into action by offering the how from the perspective of your customer. That's a lot to ask from a sentence or two. Your words will mean things, but don't start from the result back. To get to a positioning statement, ask these questions first. What does the product do? Who does it do it for? What problem does it solve? Why is it the best solution? Teaching Startup is a knowledge base of content that entrepreneurs turn to when they need an experienced approach to strategic and tactical elements of running a business. Teaching Startup makes complex concepts of entrepreneurship universal and easy to implement, and delivers them at a fraction of the time and cost associated with traditional advising. I don't think that position statement is perfect yet, but what it does do is answer all the questions and achieve all the goals. They may not be the exact right answers and the exact right goals, but they give me something I can work with right now. And now that I know what I want to do and how I want to do it, I can start building a better and more valuable product as opposed to a product that's just a bunch of features and functionality. Next, I'll start setting limits based on the market I'm targeting. After that, we'll be able to better identify customer needs and key benefits and have productive conversation about product market fit. Once we get there, we can build a useful roadmap driven by business priorities and customer value. That's the understanding that every startup needs to reach to have any hope of getting their growth unstuck. So I put together the product playbook because I was getting question after question that boiled down to the same thing. My product is stuck. We're not making any progress. We're not selling any product. We are stagnating. It also helps for me to have something to hand off to people so they know what angle I'm coming from in my approach. Okay, so it's an ebook, and I actually have two, and you don't need to buy them. Again, I'll stress, if you're a member of Teaching Startup, you already have this content. You don't need the ebook. I wanted to put it in an ebook, and as part of the process, I'm putting that up on Amazon. You can go to joeprocopio.com, and it's on there, and you can search for it on Amazon as well. That brings me to what Teaching Startup is. We've covered that quite a lot, but if you want to support me in doing what I'm doing, you can help me by helping me help you. Go to teachingstartup.com, become a member. It is 700 plus questions, answers, posts, polls from expert entrepreneurs to all kinds of entrepreneurs. Those entrepreneurs are actually asking the questions, and you can ask your own questions. Again, teachingstartup.com. Help me help you. I appreciate you. Go out there and do great things.